series. Please like and subscribe. It doesn't do a great deal to you. It shows me what I'm doing right. Comment if I'm doing something wrong. So, season targets, I'm on track, and this week I'm again hoping to finish in the top 5, and this is where I'm at so far this season. So you can see, making some good progress over the last 2 or 3 weeks, which I'm really pleased with. This race, we're at Laguna Seca, strength of field for my best race this week was 13:35. So this was my qualifying lap. This corner is absolute murder in a lot of races that I've had so far this week. I've seen cars try to go full wide into that turn on the first lap. It's insanity. However, thankfully qualifying is just me on a track and no one else, and I did okay on this lap. It's not the best lap I've ever done at this track, but I have to say Laguna Seca is probably, as far as racing goes, other than at the start of the season or near the start at Summit Point, this has got to be the most fun track for racing on that I've had. The evidence for that was the fact that I did 7 races this week. Normally, if I manage 4, I'm lucky. I found the time to have 7 races on this track, so with varying results from finishing last to getting on the podium. So yeah, a bit of a mixed week. Learned a hell of a lot though, and I learned a lot about the Mazda as well in this week. So obviously I've been learning a lot over the season, but yeah, this week was really quite intense and really enjoyed it, and so managed to put in a reasonable lap for qualifying. Again, can do better, but I'll settle for that. P2 on the grid. Being in P2 hopefully means I can avoid all the turn 1 nonsense. I'm not filled with confidence by the little kitty car on the inside, or whatever they're called. And in giving Pole some space, this guy snuck through. Now I always take the first lap a little bit easy. I'm getting better at going faster on cold tyres, but I do usually take the first lap a lot easier than once I'm 2 or 3 laps in and I'm in my rhythm and I'm pushing. And my version of pushing is obviously not on the limit all the time, but I'm getting better. My pace is improving and my consistency is improving. That's mainly where it's at. This guy for some reason thought he could bury me up the inside, but he just pushed it too hard through the corner, went wide, and gets to sit behind me for the rest of the race. Into the corkscrew. I know I do that line wrong. I know I've been doing it wrong. I can get that line fine in the GR86. I can stick to the right and then cut right through the corkscrew on the downhill. But for some reason in the Mazda, I just really struggle. If I try and keep it to the right just before they turn down into the corkscrew, I just go spinning off straight into the wall. So I need to really work on that. Now, first and second, first place is really getting a stretch on us now. Second, I don't want to let him get too far ahead. I'm desperately trying now to keep him in range, and tyres are warmer. I'm feeling a bit more comfortable now after the first lap, and so we're going to try and reel in second place. See if we can get on his tail, force him to make a mistake. Now he's just made a mistake there, so we know he's not infallible. All we've got to do is be patient and sit on his tail. Now, one thing I've learned about being patient and waiting is you don't just sit there and wait for an opportunity. You've got to be proactive. So what I'm doing now, in my idea of proactivity, is if I'm not pushing him and I'm just being patient and sitting back, then the next thing to be doing is using my head and working out where his strengths are and where his weaknesses are, seeing where I'm catching him up on which corners, so that I know potentially where I can get the jump on him. Now, he pushed that corner a little bit wide. He didn't quite cut across the apex there, so already that's indicating to me that maybe he's got a bit of a weak point at that corner, because I've managed to cut the gap by half from what it was before then, and I've got a good run on him into turn 1. Now, he's as quick as me through that section, and because I took a slightly wider line, he's had a better exit. We're equal through this section, because I cannot get enough of a run on him there really to go past him here, and he does seem to be able to carry a little bit more speed than me through there. So we already know that I just need to keep on his tail down here. So if I can't get him on the final hairpin, I need to be on his tail coming up here. I don't know why I thought I could maybe make it up the inside there, but I was not going fast enough, and that's another lesson learned. I was alongside him at a point where you've got to be going a lot faster to be able to overtake there and be safe, because you've got to really take that bend almost flat out, and I did not give myself the angle because I was way too tight. I should have slowed down a little bit, tucked in behind him, and kept the pace up through that corner, but I was trying to see if he would make a mistake, and I was hoping that he would make a mistake and I would end up pushing him wide. But the reality is that despite the fact he would have had a warning that I was on his left, he just cut straight across that apex, which makes me wonder if he's got the racing line on. And if he has, then I need to be careful that I don't put myself on the racing line in a dangerous position, because he will just follow it. So I've now got the hard task of catching him back up again. Now, he was the equal to me in most of these corners, so where I'm going to catch him I'm not quite sure yet. I just need to get my head down, be consistent and stay on his tail. So that was a reasonable run through that corner. There's a few kph off the speed through that corner. That's ideal, really. And again, not keeping the ideal line through here, or I say ideal line, I mean the quickest line for me is what I'm taking at the moment, but the theoretical quickest line, and the one that most people actually do take, is a little bit wider before the corkscrew. So anyway, pushing it down here, trying to keep up, catch up, and he's run wide again there and ended up spinning because he's braked a little bit too late. He's pushing himself wide, and therefore as he puts the gas on where you would normally put the gas on there, he's too wide out and he's having to turn the wheel more because he's being pushed wide further, so it spins the back out as he puts the throttle down, because the car is being asked to turn more than it can cope with. And at that point I just followed first place. There were no other incidents, there was no other excitement, no overtaking. Considering the races I've had this week, this was a pretty boring race from a spectator point of view, and I'm sorry about that, but it was my best scoring race from the week, and my takeaways from this was about consistency. Now, I wasn't the fastest on the track by any means, I wasn't even second fastest. But what I did do was just stay on the track and just keep going, keep it consistent. I made a few mistakes in terms of cornering, entry speed, and turning points. But in the grand scheme of things, that finishes your races, and finishing races is where the points are at. So, unless the guy in first makes a monumental error and totals his car on the way through this final hairpin, I've managed to come in second. I'm really pleased with the podium finish. The target is always going to be a top 5 finish, and this week again managed to come in P2, get myself some decent points. And as the strength of field increases, the amount of points I get for a top 5 finish increase. So there we go, 71 championship points. Really pleased with that. So this week, how have we done? Those are my races, and as you can see, I've gone everywhere from 12th to 2nd. Now, I started out with a high SOF, and my iRacing went down a bit, and the strength of field therefore went down a bit. And that's mostly because I did struggle a little in some of the races through just the number of crashes. However, my safety rating is above target. My I rating is almost to target. Here's some highlights. Thank you so much for sticking it out this far. Hope to see you again soon.